All right, we're a little 2 minutes after the hour, so how about we go ahead and get started? So again, welcome and thank you everybody for joining today. My name is Jacob. I'm a product marketing manager here at Apollo. We're also joined by our director of product marketing, and we've got our three SDRs here, Isaac, Manny, and Jasper, who will be introducing themselves shortly. So our agenda for today, we're going to do a quick housekeeping. We're going to do and then an introduction of Apollo. You'll meet your SDR pro teams here. They're going to get into a demo, or sorry, excuse me, they're going to get into their pro tips for being an SDR and crushing as an SDR, chasing and securing that bag. Then we're going to get into the demo. And lastly, we'll have a brief time for Q&A and raffle. So we'll let you guys know who the winners were for those Amazon gift cards. So with no further ado, let's get into our housekeeping items. Sorry, the slides are a little slow here. So like we mentioned, there will be a recording coming out. So go ahead, kick back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. If you have any questions, please don't put them in the chat box. Put them in the question box, which is separate from the chat box. We're going to try to answer as many questions as possible. However, it's a ton of you and only a few of us. So we're not going to be able to get to everyone, but we will try our best to get to all the questions, as many as we can. And lastly, there is a little bell icon where you can mute sounds for notifications. So if you go into the chat or question box window and click that bell icon, you're going to see that and go ahead and mute that so you can be fully tuned into our conversation here. All right, and moving forward, we're going to do a brief introduction about Apollo. So hopefully you know who we are, but if you don't, Apollo is a sales intelligence and engagement platform. You can search, engage, and convert over 250 million contacts at 60 million companies all around the world. So if you're an SDR, specifically here for this webinar, of course, we're going to give you tons of pro tips, but also you should know about Apollo. You should use Apollo. We make your job really, really easy. So hopefully you know us, but if you don't, check us out. All right, and moving forward, I'm going to hand it off to my team here. We've got Jasper, Manny, and Isaac. Go ahead, take it away, guys. Give us an introduction.
All right, team. So my name is Manuel. My friends call me Manny, especially here at Apollo. I'm Venezuelan, but currently based in Medellin, Colombia. So super excited to be here to, share some of the best practices to kill it as an SDR.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Isaac Cruz. I'm from the best country in the world, Honduras.
Wow.
I'm originally from New York City, but I moved to Honduras for family. And I've been in Apollo for over a year and 2 or 3 months. And what I love about Apollo is just the culture, the people, everybody gets along so well, and the flexibility, But yeah, that's pretty much it, and look forward to sharing more tips with you guys.
Awesome. So my name is Jasper. As you can see on the screen, I'm from the other side of the world, from the Philippines. So it's nighttime here. Anybody else from the other side of the world here? Any night shift people here with me? But yeah, anyway, fun fact. Oh, I see someone, Yoni. Oh, all right. I'm not alone then. Good to see that. But yeah, just a fun fact. This is my first sales job. So I'm pretty lucky to be part of Apollo.io as an SDR. And I've been here for, I think, 4 months. So I'm a newbie, but I'm glad to be here.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We're glad you're here too. And now we're going to move into our topic discussion portion of the webinar. So for our pro tips, the first topic that we're going to have is, as it comes up on the screen, sorry, 1 second, bear with us.
I have to call out one more thing about these. They've already been called handsome by somebody in the chat. You can keep the compliments going.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
I saw
much.
that. I'm like, okay.
Add me on
If you want to see
LinkedIn.
more of these gentlemen,
Or follow me on LinkedIn, Isaac Cruz.
if you want to see more of these gentlemen, they have a podcast for SDRs, for people that are in sales development, early in sales careers, anyone that's doing heavy prospecting. Get some laughs, get some pro tips from them. It's on YouTube and all over LinkedIn for the Sales as Usual podcast. So they're also, as a side job, they work at Apollo.
Side
But
dogs.
here, let's kick off that first topic. Jacob, take
That's
it away.
right. That's right. Sorry about that. Yes, please go check out their podcast. They do great stuff there, as well as being great SDRs for us here at Apollo. But to get into the topics, first one, we want to ask our crew to share with all of our attendees here, what is the one thing every SDR should know and do? Manny,
Yeah,
go ahead.
of course, you can take it. So, there's a lot of things that we should know as SDRs, but I think one of the most important ones, at least for me, and I bet everyone in the chat has their own different one, is self-awareness. Being self-aware of your weaknesses and strength is also gonna help you all the time to be better in your next call or in your next call email. Being open to criticism, being open to getting feedback. It's always gonna be the thing that's gonna set you up for success and open up your growth path within your career. One of the cool things about Apollo is the fact that I can go and listen to my all calls. I can go and listen to my fellow calls to learn. I can share my calls with my manager to get some feedback on something that I need to improve. And being self-aware of all these things is what's gonna make you be better in your next steps as an SDR and in every industry. Is what's gonna be it's the thing that's gonna be game changer as you grow as an SDR. So definitely pay attention to your weaknesses and skills, and always be on the lookout. Be curious about it. Be open. Be persistent in trying to adapt new things to your processes. And yeah, that will be my first tip: self-awareness.
Nice. My tip, I would suggest, I would say one thing SDR should know is that, I hate to be the one to say this too, but this is a game of rejection, a game of rejection, a game of being ghosted, no doubt about it. It's part of the game. So I would just advise you, do not get discouraged, because when I first started, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna close every deal, every person I speak to. You come in with that confidence, and then you come in with somebody saying, all right, just take me off your call list. Why are you calling me? Who are you? And it does get discouraging, but just want to let you guys know, as part of the game, like, no matter how good or how great you are at socializing or outbound, just keep dialing. Just like Manny said, be very, very persistent. That is the key. Sometimes it takes up to 6 to 9 touches to even get one response. And, it feels great after a person has ghosted you or is not responding, and then they're interested in booking a meeting. So yeah, I would just advise that, just keep going, be persistent. You will have good days and bad days, no doubt about it. And the last thing I would say is, most importantly, we have to become interested SDRs instead of interesting. It's not always me, what I can do. It's all about the prospect. It's all about them. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And piggybacking on Manny and Isaac, just be yourself, right? I mean, there are a lot of posts out there that tell you what you should or what you should not do, but at the end of the day, find what works for you, right? What's working for others might not work for you, and it's the other way around. I mean, I see a lot of posts telling you that you shouldn't use permission-based openers, right? But if it works for you, do it. Find what works for you. And one thing that also helps me out is changing your intent when you get into sales, right? I mean, for example, going into cold calls with the intention of really booking a meeting makes you say things that you shouldn't, right? We tend to be pushy, we pitch slap, or that's when your reek of commission breath in your prospects can feel that, or can smell that, basically. And so instead, what I suggest is just let go of assumptions, right? It's okay if your prospect wants to keep chatting, but it's also cool if they don't. It's, at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about the prospects. And sales is not about just talking. It's about listening. So yeah, my tip is, just be yourself.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I got a quick question for Isaac. Isaac, what feels better, when you get that person and you close them right away, or the one that's been ghosting you for 2 weeks and then you finally are able to get them on a call?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be very, very honest. They both feel great, but I would say the one that feels even better is when you've been ghosted and you're getting no response from a prospect, and then you finally get that response saying, hey, looks interesting, or it's something we can have a conversation about. It's a boost in confidence, and it just helps you go throughout your day,
Awesome. Yeah, no, totally agree. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Something I think anybody who works in sales is going to find very relevant. How do you stay hot when you're cold emailing or cold calling? What do you do to make sure that those cold emails and cold calls actually lead to bookings and meetings and demos?
Man, staying hot is one of the key parts of being an SDR. So I don't know if I'm only the only one here, but I do not like cold calling. I don't think nobody does. I just happen to be really good at it, So that's something that you learn. You learn how to do this. You learn how to do it. You learn how to talk to people, and there's a certain pleasure to it once you get a meeting booked on the phone or via cold email. But one of the things I like doing the most is not being afraid of saying that you actually calling. Don't try to hide that. These people that you're calling on the phone need to relate to what you're doing. Don't be afraid to say, hey, just called you in a call here. Can I steal a minute? Or, hey, this is a bit of a call. Full transparency here. You can either hang up or just give me a minute to, drop your pitch. And in my experience, 8 times out of 10, they will let you pitch. It might not end at a meeting booked, but they will definitely let you pitch. So don't be afraid to call the elephant in the room every time you calling. Like that's the most important thing. And call email, always have something relevant on that prospect. Go visit their LinkedIn. That Polo has a really cool feature where you can just click the LinkedIn and go right at it to do some pre-call research, maybe to mention something relevant on the email for this person. And guys, not every email needs to have a call to action. Don't be pushy like that. Don't be setting call to actions if you haven't even engaged a conversation with this guy. So try to be really smooth about it. Once you get engage a conversation, you might drop that call to action that you need. And yeah, so my 2 cents right there.
Coming in hot. I'm coming in hot. I would say one thing to stay hot is honestly just be human. The people that you're talking to are humans just like you. Just be yourself. Just like what Jasper was saying before. Commission breath stinks. Like prospects and individuals can smell that from a mile away. Like even over the phone, like it stinks. They can tell when you're just in it just to book for the meeting, just to book for some cash, for some commission, even though we all love commission, right? But it's just that human interaction that's very, very important. Definitely do your research because there are prospects that will call you out. They'll be like, okay, you did your research, so what do I do? Like, who do I target? Like, what am I focusing on now? Be confident and always have your pitch ready, be ready at all times and have fun with it. It's at the end of the day, it is a job, but just have fun, like pretend like you're talking to a friend. Like just try to make your pitch as easy as 1, 2, 3, just like you're talking to your grandmother or a family member, a cousin. Another thing I would suggest to stay hot is take some breaks. Let's say if you're cold calling, you don't want to burn yourself out either. You don't want to. Wants to be on the phone 5 to 6 hours a day. If you make 20 dials, go for a walk, make some tea, drink some coffee, relax, and then come back to your groove and just keep at it. And that's pretty much it.
So for me, on cold calls, I think tonality is really important. Sometimes how you say it is more important than what you say. So like what I said on the last question, right? Find what works for you for sure. The best cold call opener is the one you're comfortable with, right? Don't say or force lines that that is hard for you to pronounce. I'm Filipino too. I get how it feels to struggle with pronouncing certain words. So just work with what's working for you, right?
Yep.
And on the cold email, Manny and Isaac told you about what you should do initially, right? So what I'll share with you is what I do to get that open. So I love leaving voicemails. I don't know if anybody likes that too. But on my voicemails, I don't pitch, right? I just say, hey, no need to come back. I'll send you an email with a subject line, just called you. And I would love to know what you think, right? This is Jasper over at apollo.io. And yeah, if you don't respond, I'll call you back. Something like that, right? And on the email, as Josh Braun says, depositing is better than withdrawing. So I think Manny touched this a while ago, right? He mentioned that we don't need to put call to actions all of the time on our emails. And that's true Because at the end of the day, what does prospect get from spending 15 minutes with you, right? So rather than really withdrawing or asking for time, I think it's a lot better to provide value instead. And I think the cool thing about Apollo is that I just do my day-to-day prospecting in one tool. The things that I have mentioned to you, it's so easy to do it with just one platform. I leave a voicemail, send an email after, and connect on LinkedIn afterwards directly too. Super easy like that. But yeah, I think just be yourself and it'll work for you. That's for me.
Dope.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Hey, Manny, I know you said you don't like cold calling, but what's the most amount of cold calls you've ever done in a day, if you have to
In a
guess?
day, about 200 calls or 200 calls. Yeah.
200.
For somebody that doesn't
Cold
like it,
calling machine.
put my heart up to it, man.
Numbers, right? And I'm sure they didn't all, accept you, but hey, it's a numbers game. Like Isaac said, rejection is going to happen, but it's part of the game, right? So
Yeah.
awesome.
Guys,
Well, go ahead,
other than task management, because we'll go through it soon, any good hacks for cold email or cold calls in Apollo? I can share mine if you guys are thinking.
No, for sure. One of the coolest things about Apollo is the fact that you can create templates, and as you connect it to your Gmail, right, or Outlook, or any inbox that you use, you can just hit template, and you pull out all the templates that you have created, so it's easier for you to work in your day-to-day workflow. So that's definitely a cool thing from Apollo, being able to pull out templates directly from the app.
For me, I think for cold calls, it helps to just see like company and personal information, right? Like what something, because I think it's not cool to go into cold calls without pre-call research. I think there's value with really doing your research before calling someone, and Apollo makes that easier. The fact that you can do a lot of information before calling the prospect can really help you out with your cold call.
Yeah, definitely. I would say also, to add on what the team is saying, one thing that we have mainly adopted too is, like, let's say if you're not getting a response, we usually send some memes, like some funny memes,
Yeah.
For sure.
It's part of the new world,
I love that
digital
one.
world. Memes, GIFs, and then usually they reply, laugh out loud, or they find it funny, and you get a response. So you could get the ball rolling from that.
And also Vidyard, like, we can do Vidyards too, since Vidyard also integrates with Apollo. That's something that we also do over here.
Any favorite GIFs to send? My favorite is my 7th or 8th email when I'm getting ghosted. I'll just send a YouTube video of the sound of crickets chirping.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Or I send Akon singing "I'm Lonely."
But before we jump into the next subject, my favorite bump email is just as simple as "any thoughts." That's it. That's a killer right there.
That's a classic. Yeah, that's a classic.
Hey, name, any thoughts? You'll get something. I promise.
Love it. Cool. Shall we continue?
Yes.
Let's rock.
Oh, yeah. All right. And so for topic 3, one thing that's super important, especially for any SDR or anyone really that's growing in their career, is to follow the right people, to understand who the thought leaders are, and to really learn from them, right? So we wanted to ask our crew here, how do you stay sharp? Who do you follow? What have you learned from them?
For sure. There's a lot of people on LinkedIn, mostly also on TikTok as well. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, guys, too. So, but on LinkedIn though, there's a lot of people preaching what the right process is, or the perfect process for SDR, for cold calling, cold emailing. And let me tell you something, nobody has the perfect process. I think us as an SDR, we're like scientists. We need to keep experimenting for everything we get from LinkedIn or from TikTok or from any other platform that you get tips from. That's one of the things that was gonna, like I mentioned before, being able to test different things is what's gonna set you apart from the rest. And one of the people that I personally follow is Morgan J. Ingram. Shout out to Morgan. He once shares, I think it was him, but if it's not, well, I'm just gonna give the credit to him. Actually the voicemail that Jasper leaves is actually something that I do as well. So I reach out to prospects and I get the voicemail. I say, hey, no need to call me back. Just send you an email with the subject line, just call you. If you could get me some feedback on that, that would be greatly appreciated. Again, this was Manny with Apollo. That's it. Really subtle send out an email with a subject line that you mentioned, and just say something relevant. That's something that I got from this guy, and something I've been using. It's been working. I'm not gonna lie, it works. Maybe you're not gonna get a meeting every time, but it's definitely gonna create some engagement right there if you say something meaningful on that just called you one. So yeah, definitely keep testing all those tips that you get from LinkedIn. Like I said, nobody has a perfect process. We're scientists and we need to craft our own perfect process. All right.
True. That's so true. On my end, how I stay sharp, who I follow, I follow who I think is personally one of the goats. I follow Beck Holland. She's amazing. So yeah, if you're watching this, Beck Holland, follow me back on LinkedIn. But yeah, I do follow her. I also honestly follow my team. I stay in touch with my directors, my managers, Jasper, Manny as well. They often, I'm very open to constructive criticism. Iron sharpens iron. So we're always picking up each other's backs, telling each other, hey, you should do this, you shouldn't say that, do this, do that. And sales is a lifestyle. It's an everyday thing. That's one of the reasons I started to become an SDR. The way you talk, the way you treat people, the way you dress, it all factors in who you are and when you do your outbound and your outreach. So that's how I stay sharp. And and I'm pretty a bit biased and a bit prideful of my team, but I really follow my team and my peers, and I often pick their brains often. You can even ask Manny, like sometimes there was one time I remember, like I slacked him like in the weekend or like at 10 at night, and he's like, yo, dude, like why you hitting me up so late? But yeah, it's just like constant it's just wanting to be the best version that you can be as an SDR.
Cool.
And you know what, guys? Just a little bit of a fun fact. This dude, Isaac, doesn't have social media. So he reaches out to Manny on Slack, dude. Doesn't give Manny the
on the weekend. My
the
Slack
weekend,
notifications are off, my guy. Off.
But yeah, for me, before I give my opinion, I see a couple of questions about writing down the names. I apologize if we weren't able to cover all of them, but feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn and we'll give you the names, okay? But for me, how do I stay sharp? So for me, just keep on learning. I love listening to podcasts. So these are on Spotify if you want to follow them. One is Outbound Squad by Jason Bay, Inside Selling by Josh Braun, and 30 Minutes to President's Club. There are a lot of information that they give out. So try listening to those podcasts. It's really good. But yeah, there's a lot to learn out there, right? And we don't even need to go far. Like what Isaac said, this is my first sales job. And what I did to get me up to speed was to eat gong videos of AEs for breakfast.
Hey.
I listened to how they ask questions or how they did demos, which I learned a lot from, and apply that as my questions for an SDR role. And, I also asked tips from my fellow SDRs like Isaac and Manny. I listened to their phone calls and see what questions they were asking that made them the top performing reps in over here at Apollo.io. So yeah, keep learning. The SaaS space is changing very fast. What might work today might not work tomorrow. So keep your eyes out there to learn, because every day is really different. So that's my tip for you guys.
And the other podcast you should listen to is the Sales as Usual podcast.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
what a good plug.
Yeah, that's a really good one, guys.
Definitely. Well, for time's sake, we're going to move on to our last topic before we get into our live demo and our winners for the raffle. So for our last topic for today, how do you work fast? How are you efficient cutting out waste? Manny, go ahead.
So yeah, this is a really important one. I think every day you should be ready to. Every day you should know what you're gonna do that day. So one of the things I do is I cut a list maybe the night before, or maybe on the weekend. So I'm ready for the whole week. If the list that I tried on Monday didn't work, I might try another one on Tuesday. So definitely that will make me work faster, but also work in a more efficient way. That's what I'm trying to achieve. Having everything handy and doing everything that I need to do in a smooth way, and cut out waste. The same way. One of the most important things that I would add here is that sales is a tough industry. So whenever you guys need to take a break after a bad call, after a bad email, just do it. Get a cup of coffee, get some water, sit down and chill, listen to some music. And if it's something higher than just that, ask for a day off. Like every SDR manager should know how draining sales is and how important mental health is for this game. So definitely don't be afraid to just take a break and sit back and try to analyze everything that you're doing on a daily basis for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Manny pretty much, hit it out the ballpark. He hit it on the spot. What I do to work fast and cut out waste is I usually try to hit up prospects using different channels. So let's say if they're not answering on email, I'll call them. If they're not answering to my call or my voicemail, I'll hit them up through LinkedIn. Lately, I've been trying to use like a texting app, like free texting apps to, tell them, hey, just sent you, or I just called you, just sent you an email, so that way they can just look at their email. Just trying different avenues and different venues of ways to get in touch with that prospect. And after this, Manny will show you another way is working fast is we have task lists in Apollo, which you can just filter quickly, and Manny will show you soon after this. So that's what I mainly use. And yeah, just if a prospect is not answering at the moment or when you want them to, just on to the next, on to the next, just keep going. Make sure you follow your sequence strictly into the teeth, and yeah, just keep going and be persistent.
So for me, I guess take accountability, right? Like what Isaac said at the first part of this webinar, as salespeople, we face a lot of rejections, So it's so easy to be demotivated, and it's so easy to blame other things like, oh, I don't have a good book of accounts, I didn't get enough training. But, focusing on that won't really help you out long term. That's what I think. So instead, I think we should focus more on our self-development, like what I mentioned a while ago, keep on learning. So in Apollo, like what I mentioned a while ago, I always listen to my own calls. That's the cool thing about it. I assess, what could I have done better? What could have been a better question to ask? Or just really self-assess yourself to see where you can improve on. And I think that's the cool thing about having a single platform for your day-to-day prospecting, right? It's so easy to see which sequences you have are not working or not. It's so easy to know what calls were not successful and were successful. So at the end of the day, you can really grow as an SDR, and you can really reach your full potential if you think about it that way. So yeah, I guess my take is to take responsibility, because that's the only thing that we can control over here at sales.
Yep. For
Awesome.
sure.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And I think sort of to Isaac's point about, making sure that you're setting yourself up for success. One thing Manny wanted to show real quick is a live demo. So Manny, if you have that and you're able to pull up your screen, when it comes to prioritizing your leads, prioritizing your tasks, that's something that Apollo really helps SDRs with. And so Manny's going to show us really quickly how he's able to do that.
So
Jacob,
yeah, Tim, can you see my screen?
Really quick, Jacob, should we just wrap? Do you want to wrap, and then if people want to stay on to watch the demo, they can stay on? I just want to be mindful.
Good point. Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do that. So real quickly, we appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you so much for joining. We do have raffle winners, so we'll be sending out 3 gift cards to Nick Simpson, Ward Thurman, and Janet Sorrow. Thank you very much for joining. You guys are our lucky winners, and everyone else who's here. Nice. We are going to go a little bit over time if you want to stay and watch the live demo. But lastly, before you leave, one thing to note is that we are offering for anyone who wants to give referrals. If you know somebody who can use Apollo, if you love Apollo and you want to share the word, after this webinar ends, we're going to send out a referral form in your email. If you provide us with any referrals, we're going to send you what we're calling our SDR Essentials content sheet. And that is going to have basically all of the material you've heard here today, plus more. So it's going to be tips, great tools you can use, thought leaders to follow, and it's going to have a ton of information for anyone who's working in sales. So if you send us a referral, we'll send you a download link for that. But we really do appreciate you all being here. If anyone wants to stay for an extra 5 minutes, please feel free to do so. We'll have Manny go ahead and do his live demo. But again, really, really grateful for you all to be here. Follow us on LinkedIn. We have a TikTok now. Ara's our TikTok star. So we're going to
Let's get it.
giving you guys tons of information. But really appreciate you all being here. Thank you.
Yep.
So real quick, Tim. So for the ones that are staying, one of the coolest things about Apollo is the task manager. That it usually looks like this. This is what I've been saying. I create my list the day before. If you can see right here, this list is created yesterday. And for this one, I use something really cool, our newest feature, buying intent, that is suggesting that all these prospects might be looking, just maybe looking into tools like Apollo. So it will open the door for maybe a warm conversation right there. So usually it looks like this. This is really cool because you open the person's profile with an Apollo, open the task, sorry, and you're gonna get this screen that looks just like this, where you can just click in the number if you want to dial, and if the person didn't pick up or something, you can just set up the call disposition right here to the side, which is something really cool as well. You can ping notes and check the activity that other reps have had for this account, and the most importantly, the reason why I created this list right here, buying intent. So it shows that this company might be looking into high intent, buying intent, might be looking into buyer intent data tools. So this is a cool way in for me on this one, maybe. And yeah, I mean, one thing I like to do as well is people that didn't pick up the phone, I just leave the task open so I can reach out to this person the next day or maybe later in the afternoon. So I just flow between tasks like this, and leave the ones that I couldn't connect open for a second try on the day. So yeah, will be pretty much it, guys. Hope this was helpful for y'all.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate
Awesome.
you
Don't
guys
forget
tuning
to
in.
check us out on YouTube, guys. Sales as
Yeah,
usual.
Sales as Usual
Check
podcast.
out our
Subscribe.
podcast.
That's right.
Really, yeah, appreciate you guys all being here. Thanks to our team here for sharing your tips and your tricks on being a pro SDR. If you guys loved what you heard here too, also feel free to fill out that form along with the referral. Please provide us feedback. We'd love to continue this and continue to create this type of content and webinars for all of our sales people out there who can really value or who get value out of something like this. This is really exciting for us to do for you all, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much. The comments were going crazy. We really appreciate all of the engagement and support here. So thank you.
That's right.
All right, Tim.
See you guys.
Awesome.
Take care,
Thanks,
man.
everyone.
Love you
Have a
guys.
great one.